This mix tip is just for Sam O'Hare. His album is going to be available on all the streaming platforms this Friday. If you want to get it before then, you may still be able to buy a CD. I've seen some bogus stuff in his Pro Tools sessions, so I just want to show you real quick how I would set up an aux send for a reverb or an effect like a delay or something like that. Here we have Sam's vocal. The first thing I'm gonna do is I could put a reverb right on this track, but I don't want to do that for a couple of reasons. First of all, I want to be able to use this reverb for multiple things. If I want to put a couple of instruments in the vocal in the same space, I could do that if I put the reverb on an aux track, but I can't do that if I just put it straight on the vocal. And reverbs tend to use a lot of CPU, so I don't want to have a ton of them. Another thing is I have a nice mono vocal track. I don't want to turn it into a stereo track just because I'm putting a reverb on it. I want to keep that mono if I can. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a new stereo aux input. I'm going to, right off the bat, name it. What I like to do is use capital letters for all of my aux tracks, all of my reverb returns, and also any kind of track grouping, track buses. So my drums would be in all capital letters, drums. And that way I can easily differentiate when I'm just scanning down my session and see what's an audio track, what's got a sound on it, and what is an aux or something else. So I will reserve capital letters for aux tracks. And if you send me tracks like capital AC, I'm surprised I didn't already name that track because that should be something like this. Now, I have my aux track that I'm going to put my reverb on. I'm going to set the input to a new bus. And I actually have my bus menus split out so that buses 1 through 128 are all for routing, and then buses 129 through 256 are actually for effects. So I've set my input for this track to 145, 146, and look at this, I'm also going to rename that just by right-clicking on it. I can rename that bus. So I will name it to match, also in all capital letters. And that way I can see in the menu exactly where I'm routing things. Now I can go up to Sam's vocal track, and in the first send, I can send that to reverb. Cool. There's my send. I'll set the output of the reverb track to my FX bus. Here's when the fun begins. I highly recommend that you command click, or I guess control click on a PC on the solo button, and it will turn gray. And what that does is it makes that reverb bus solo safe. So now if you solo the vocal and you have it sending to this bus, it is not going to mute the reverb as you solo the track. This is something, if you're coming from Logic, that Logic would do by default. So if you're expecting that kind of behavior, you definitely want to solo safe all of your aux tracks. As you could guess, on the reverb track, I'm going to insert a plugin, and it's going to be a reverb plugin. Let's just throw on Deverb. A really important thing to do in this plugin is make sure that the mix is set 100% to wet, because you have the dry signal right here coming through the vocal track. You only need the wet signal coming through the reverb track. If you have this set to anything less than 100%, you're going to get dry vocal coming through your vocal track and through your reverb track, and you just don't want that. You don't need that. It could cause timing issues. Just keep it wet. You can control the amount of reverb that goes to the plugin using the send fader. And if you command click on this reverb send selector A, right on the A there, you can get the little mini fader. Another thing to take a look at, I have this selected by default, but you may not. This FMP button, FMP stands for Link Panner to Main. You may have guessed that based on the letters F, M, and P. It stands for Follow Main Pan. If I have Follow Main Pan deselected, I can actually send the vocal track either to the left side of the room or to the right side of the room or anywhere in between, because I'm sending it to a stereo track with a stereo reverb on it. If I have Follow Main Pan selected, the panner for the track is going to control which way the send is panned. So it's just going to follow the panning of the track itself. In most cases, it's probably what you want to start with, but you can do some cool stuff. Like if you have a guitar that's only on the right side and you need to balance out the stereo image, you can send it to a reverb that's only on the left side, and then you don't have a big open hole on the left side of your mix. So we have Follow Main Pan on, we have the reverb track solo safe, we have the send amount cranked up, the reverb is dialed in. It's about all you need to know. If you want to take this to the next level, you can actually put whatever inserts you want on this reverb box. So let's say before the reverb, we want to put some kind of EQ. We can actually high pass the signal that's going into the reverb.
Home to let my mind clear, all is calm at
Filter it
home.
however we want.
The world takes its time here, feels so good.
And that can affect the way that the reverb plugin responds to the material that's coming into it. In the same way, if your reverb is just giving you too much low end and it's creating mud in the track, or there's some ringing frequency that you don't like, you could put an EQ after the reverb and cut what you don't need.
Home to let my mind clear, all is calm at home.
I don't think we need that in this case, but it's good to know that you can do that. You could distort the reverb, you could delay the reverb, whatever you want to do. So it's especially cool to have it on its own track.
Home to let my mind clear, all is calm at home. The world takes its time here, feels so good being home. It feels so good being home. Home to let my mind clear, all is calm at home. The world takes its time here, feels so good being home. It feels so good being home. Home to let my mind clear, all is calm at home. The world takes its time here, feels so good being home. It feels so good being home. Home to let my mind clear, all is calm at home. The world takes its time here, feels so good being home. It feels so good being home.
Have fun with that.